And now, live from our Smokehouse studio, it's time for Real Estate Jerky. All your real estate questions answered by our provocatively lean expert hosts. Edward Ed Parco, MBA, veteran, and president of Lending for Living. We'll give you something to chew on. Real Estate Jerky is on now.
That's my California.
Thanks for joining us here on Real Estate Jerky. I'm your host, Ed Parco, president of Lending for Living, along with Marlene Champlin, on the road and keeping you up to date on real estate and what's happening in our communities, our studios, wherever we have a solid Wi-Fi connection, and our fabulous engineer, Mike Murray, and the incredible radio signal of iHeartMedia and this station, KFIV. We always bring you something to chew on here at Real Estate Jerky. If you have questions, you can call or text me at 209-404-1915. That's 209-404-1915. Or email us at radio@realestatejerky.com. Hello, Marlene. How you doing?
I'm good, Ed. How are you? Are you adjusting to this heat after being up in Alaska for the past week?
Yeah, I prefer the light, though. The light and the dark. What I mean by that is when you're in Alaska, you look at your watch. Oh, it must be like 7 o'clock in the evening, and it is midnight. Because it's so light outside still. So it starts to get somewhat dark at midnight, and then it starts to get light again at 4 a.m. So
I would love that.
For a while.
No, I would love it. I push that candle all the way.
No, you have to take. So what you do is you take a nap around 4.
Yeah.
For an hour or whatever, and then you get up and you keep going. I just prefer when we landed back into California and it was 9:30 at night and it was dark. I prefer that.
Yeah. Did you look at real estate while you were there?
We drove all over, but I didn't actually look at prices.
No.
But they are anything that's comes on the market is being sold. And that's kind of the same thing I found out with Colorado right now. Still everything in Colorado. And you're going, what about Colorado?
What about, I was like, wait, how did we go from Alaska?
No, I'm just saying in general, we're talking about Alaska. And I had my aunt pass away and they had her life thing on Saturday, last Saturday. And my family was from Colorado and we were talking and they were saying how a trailer in a trailer park trailer are going for over asking for it's just ridiculous. Anything. Yeah. So
it's a shortage across the country. It's not just one area, right?
Right. And when a lot of people are leaving other places and going to Colorado and Texas and even Alaska because of the one thing about Alaska that was different there and here is the patriotism.
Ooh,
what I mean is everybody, you get off the plane. It's like, welcome back our troops, right? Because there's so many troops in Alaska, especially Anchorage. Everybody's about, a lot of people there have been it's kind of like used to be in San Diego.
Yes.
Now it's not so much because there's a lot less bases down there. LA, Orange County, all that kind of stuff. But up there's bases. They're used to having the servicemen there. They care a lot about them. And I see that everybody's more patriotic. It just seems that all day long you run into it where here you don't, right? How many times does someone go up to a veteran and say, thank you for your service in our area? Besides me.
I do.
Yeah.
Every time. But that's because I'm veteran friendly.
Right. But
in spite of my bad experience. But
the problem with that is right now with veterans, we serve our country. We should be taken care of. We should be moved in the front of the line. The problem is they're taking, I don't know if you know this, but they're taking the doctors from the VA to take care of the people who are coming across the border.
Bad radio right now. I'm speechless. No, I did not know that.
Yeah. So they're taking, so instead of making sure our vets are taken care of, they're making sure that the people coming across who are doing it illegally, and I'm not going to get in that whole political thing about that, but you shouldn't be doing that.
No kidding, because veterans already struggle so much getting the care they need. Oh my gosh. What are
you going to do?
Well, vote.
That's right.
Vote.
That's
we just went from Alaska to voting. I still get, now you just got me wound up. You're so good at that because I'm still disgusted.
At the 16.5%.
16.8% of which the lowest turnout. I was just telling my neighbor this past weekend. The lowest of all of the voters registered voting turnout age group. Have we talked about this, Ed?
No,
Did-
not age
females,
group.
females 45 plus.
Yeah, I think you kind of
How
said that a
could,
couple
how
times.
is
You're
that
upset about that.
possible? How is that possible?
I know.
How is that possible? The group that was fought for the hardest is the one not showing up to vote at the polls. And we're talking registered voters. We're not talking about everyone of the age to legally vote. We're just talking registered voters. Where are you, ladies? I can't even understand what that one. Why? And that's what I was talking to my neighbor is why did she think? And we'll talk a little bit more about that in a second. You're listening to Real Estate Jerky with our tantalizingly wise host, Ed Parco, MBA veteran, mortgage advisor, and president of Lending for Living. You can reach out to Ed at 209-404-1915. That's 209-404-1915. This is PowerTalk 1360 KFIV. So she had a kind of an interesting theory about why those women are of a certain age. She's in that age group. I'm on the other side of it now. It picked back up with women over 65. So, but the 45 to 65 was the lowest voter turnout of all of that low 16.8. Now we're getting into, dozens of people. Right. She made a comment about what complacency does over a long period of time. And when you are told repetitively that you don't matter, which in our culture, besides children, who doesn't matter? Women over, once you're past childbearing or age, that you don't matter anymore. And when you're told that repetitively, culturally, so subconsciously, she had a theory. And I thought, well, but why not go out and vote? Why not use the tools you have?
Right. Because you fought for those tools.
Exactly.
Yeah. I just don't understand.
I don't either. I mean, yeah, we had the vote when I was young, but when I was first an adult, you didn't have the right to, women were just barely getting credit cards and getting joint checking accounts. No kidding.
We couldn't even use your income for the loan.
Nope. Yeah.
You might have a baby.
Yeah, you see what I'm saying?
It was a different world in the 60s and 70s.
Yes, and that's now. What I'm talking about.
And you would think that you'd want to fight more now.
Yes,
yes.
Yes. I don't understand it. But we don't live there now. Now a woman, is it so? Ed, single women. Do you do many loans for them?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Percentage wise, what if you had to guess?
Well, you're going to have 50% of the people are going to be divorced, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then so of that 50%, you probably have 25% of that 50%. So, a quarter of all those is probably either a single man or a single female.
Mm-hmm.
So it just depends on their income and what they're getting for, if they're working and they get money for child support or alimony or vice versa, or they have to pay it, because sometimes women have to pay it.
Right.
Yeah. So it just depends on the situation. But yes, many times we take care of single or not unmarried women or unmarried men.
Yeah.
Which means you've been married before. By the way.
Unmarried as opposed to single. Single means you've never been married, right?
Correct.
And what percentage of singles are buying homes?
Of single, I don't know. I'd have because everything's different, but I would say probably single individuals who've never been married.
Yes.
2 out of 10.
Okay.
1 out of 10. Yeah. 10.
Okay.
Because a lot of people have been lately buying earlier. I normally said the average age was 31.
Mm-hmm.
Now it's, that doesn't mean people don't buy earlier. And a lot of people are buying at 21. There's a couple agents I know who are real young and they own homes already too.
Mm-hmm.
So, it's just something that they were taught to do from their family and the fact that they got into real estate and they see how important it is.
That is super, super duper cool.
Is that super duper cool?
It is super duper cool.
But back to, we were talking about Alaska before and I went to Colorado and we talked about a lot of different things, but, it's as much as I complained in the beginning about California, I still want us to polish that and get that tarnish off and make it good again. So you need to get out and vote. You have to get out and vote in November. You have to. You can't complain about it. You have to get out and vote. This is how bad it is. I was on the Mike Douglas show earlier this week where I filled in.
Mm-hmm.
And we talked about, I don't know if you know this, but people are getting gas. I don't know if I brought it up or not, but people are getting gas in Texas. They're going across the border to Mexico to get gas. It's $3 a gallon across the border.
Right.
And where they get their gas from?
I'm afraid us.
Yeah, they get it from Texas.
Ugh.
So Pemex, all those people.
Yeah.
So they worked on their infrastructure, spent money, they subsidize their fuel, and then they buy it from Texas and then they sell it. So everybody's going across the border to fill up at $3 a gallon instead of $6 a gallon. Guess who's probably doing that in San Diego? Everybody in San Diego.
Well, it's like when you live on the border of California, Oregon, and you go over and buy all your goods in Oregon so you can beat the sales tax.
Right.
I mean, that's been going on forever.
Right, but this is worse. Saves you a lot of money, not just 7%.
Well, imagine 8%. if you're
saves you 50%.
If you're buying diesel for a big rig,
right.
I mean, $1,000 to fill it up.
Dude, I'd go over there with a semi. Fill me up. I'm a tanker. Let me go across the board and sell it.
Oh my gosh, there's always something to chew on right here on Real Estate Jerky on PowerTalk 1360 KFIV. If you've got questions about real estate and mortgages, reach out to Ed at 209-404-1915 or email him at radio@realestatejerky.com. Let's see if you catch the clue from this tune as to what's coming up when we come back.
As veterans, we have served our country, and the new VA loan is a benefit for that service. Let us at Lending for Living guide you through the process. Call us today at 209-846-9270 or visit lendingforliving.com.
Welcome back. I'm Marlene Champlin here on Real Estate Jerky on PowerTalk 1360 KFIV, along with our amazing host, Ed Parco, MBA veteran and president of Lending for Living. And now Ed has another accomplishment to his long list.
I do.
And that's author. Ed, you're writing a book.
Correct. I'm in the process. I have it all done, and we're just editing the stuff and over editing and editing again, to get it out.
That's exciting.
Yeah. I bet you don't know the name of the book.
And I don't. What is the name of the book?
Financial Freedom, Building Personal Wealth Through Home Ownership.
Ah, there you go. There you go.
They added that financial freedom in there.
Yeah, financial freedom.
Yeah.
Building personal wealth through home owner. So the topic is how to build personal wealth. Yes.
Because you got to buy your first house before you can buy your second, third, fourth, and fifth.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So it's all about the process and understanding the process and I didn't want it to be real big, so it was intimidating, and I didn't want it too small, so it didn't seem like there was a lot of information in it. So we're kind of in the middle. That's my plan, so that people will pick it up and read it and understand. And I've sent to a few of the people in my industry and other people. I said, can you go through this? And a couple guys like, man, love the stories, love what you did. And they're just going to call you halfway through the book. They're going to finish, but they're just like, okay, let me just call Ed, get this going. It's just to let you know, don't be intimidated by the process. It's not that difficult as long as you get with the right mortgage person and the right agent to find that house. Those are the two key things besides having the credit, income, and down payment.
Small details like that.
After those three, the other two are the most important.
Yeah. So credit score. Income, you can't buy if you don't make enough money.
Technically, yes, but say that you're going to go to college and your parents want to find a place for you to live and you don't want to go in the dorms, and they help you buy a house. You can do FHA with that person, and your parents are the non-occupying co-borrowers, and then you rent out the other two rooms to help pay for your house. So there's so you don't have to have the down. You have to have or the income. You can figure that out some other way. You follow what I'm getting at? It just depends on what's the plan. And that's one thing we talk about is, and I didn't not majorly in the book about what is your why, right? But we ask you those questions. What are you trying to do? I had somebody call me that wanted to help buy a house for their daughter. And I told them, well, FHA is the best way, 3.5% down. Told them the whole thing. Oh, that's perfect. Otherwise they had to do 20% down, right? As an investment or a second home or so 20, it really is 25 because of the way the pricing is these days. I think it's I had my wife read it, and I think she was crying through the book. It's because you don't know how good they help you write it, and it's like, I don't know how it is, but I get, it's came off pretty well. So I've had a few of my clients, they're writing little blurbs for the back of the book, how it does work, and what I say. So, and for me, it's like, it's just to get that information out there. So I don't care if you contact me, or if you're in a different area, I'll help you find somebody in that area that I don't serve. I want to make sure that you get that house that you want.
Right. Because brokers all over the place. All over the place. In Colorado.
Yeah. I used to be approved in Colorado, but I only do my family loans. And then it got to a point where I don't want to spend that money for the licensing if you're only doing a few. And I always say, I think a third of all mortgages are done in California. That's enough for me.
All across the US.
Yeah. It used to be, it could be now down to 25%, but that's still a lot of, 40 million people live in California. Hello. I don't know how many people live in Texas, but it's not that many.
Not 40 million.
Yeah. So that's enough for me. I can work with that.
Oh my God.
Right. I mean, think about it. Why do I? Yeah. Yes. I lost out on 20 loans over the last 3 years of clients of mine who moved out of the state, but that's okay. I referred them, and then those people referred back to me. So
good for you. Yeah, good for you. You're listening to Real Estate Jerky with our incredibly talented host, Ed Parco, MBA veteran, mortgage advisor, president of Lending for Living, and author. You can reach out to Ed at 209-404-1915. That's 209-404-1915. This is PowerTalk 1360 KFIV. So why a book now?
Because I wanted to write a sales book, and they want me to have another book first. But I've always wanted to.
Who's the they?
The book people that I was going through, that when I want to put out, because I want to put out, I've been talking in sales forever, and I know how to help people in sales. I train so many people, but I think the most important thing is, in my industry, I've been in it for so long. I need to put out the knowledge I have and gained from this industry so people can have it. Right. And then the next step would be, what have I learned in the sales side? Because I came up with this thing. Remember, in sales, I always say people don't buy because you just don't know. Right. Remember how they just don't know? KNOW. They just don't know what you're trying. And I said, that was the dumbest thing. So I said, what that is.
That's maybe why I don't remember it, and it don't receive it. What I always remember is, no one cares what you know until they know how much you care.
Right. That's important.
That is the truth of anything.
Listen to Zig Ziglar, listen to Tracy,
I love him.
All those guys, right? Tom Hopkins, they always say people don't buy because they just don't know. KNOW. And I was like, okay, well, that means, so I came up with the acronym. It meant knowledge needed to overcome waiting. Right. That's what it is. And so I did a whole sales a speech on that at one of these couple of events I did, and that did really well. But the book was I wanted to get that knowledge out so people understood, because I looked out there. There's a lot of books on how millennials buy, and I checked them. They were not that great. And I'm not saying I'm better than everybody else. There were not the easy knowledge and make it easy for people to understand how easy it is to purchase a home. Right. And right now you have, if you're going to go rent a place, they have 100 leads for that one rental for them to call back, and then they have 14 to 20 applications for that one unit. Right now, so if you're buying a house, you don't have that right now,
because it's slowed up, as far as
just because
people are freaked out because of the interest rate or whatever.
Again, just don't
pricing.
know.
They don't know.
They haven't been given the knowledge needed to overcome waiting.
You just reminded me about the tiny houses out in Riverbank.
Yeah, that came up because I was on the Mike Douglas show, and I saw that,
Well, I saw it. The Modesto Bee did a big
that's when because of course, when I have to do the Mike Douglas show, I have to read the news. Right. Normally, I just listen and everything to the investment stuff and the business news. I don't look at the other stuff. And I looked at that, and I saw that they had those tiny houses out there, and then I brought it up on the show, and we talked about it. And a lot of people were saying they could not live in a 600 to 700 square foot house.
So that reminds me, okay, we're very far apart in age, but what's the smallest, growing up, what size house did you live in, Ed? I know I lived in tiny houses.
No, we lived in, I'd say at one time we lived in was that 2-bedroom mobile home in Colorado when they were going to build a house, and we never did, and moved back to California. And that was a 3-bedroom house. So that probably was a 1,600 square foot house. And then in high school, lived in an old farmhouse off of West Avenue South in Turlock, It's not there anymore. It was right next to the cabinet shop. Now it's industrial. And I think that was probably the smallest house I've been in. It's probably 1,200 square feet.
And how many of them were you in your family?
Three.
Mom,
and myself and my sister.
Oh, so you're a smaller family. So get this, ready? We grew up in, when I read about the tiny houses, I started laughing because there were 7 of us. The biggest house we lived in when there were 7 kids, 2 adults. And the biggest house we lived in when I was growing up was the last house before I left home. And it was a double wide mobile. And I think it was not quite 1,800 square feet.
Yeah, but I was a single wide.
And that was the biggest. That was the biggest. Up to that point, my bedroom was the dining room, and I had to make it back up.
We lived in a house in
every day. I had to like disappear that I didn't actually live there.
I got
a 2-bedroom, 1 bath. My mom had a timer on the door so that nobody, if you went past the timer, man, you got a bash on the head when you got out of there. I mean, so it was like, these people, what are they acting like? This is like a closet. It's not. I mean, it's 600 right there. 600.
It was like 670, 642 to 778 or something like that.
My own kids, 3 of them, we lived in a little house out in the country when we first moved to Merced. My first house I bought was 1,248 square feet, I think.
Yeah, but that's almost
3-bedroom.
double. That's almost double the.
I know it was huge. Well, I'm saying it was huge comparatively.
But I got you beat as a kid when we lived in Denver. My bedroom was the back porch.
Was the back porch?
Yeah,
I would have liked that.
Back porch.
Having in the dining room
over on the side. I can't believe they have me stuck over there. That's just rude. I wouldn't even put my dogs out there. Hey, when we come back, before we talked about the author part, but I also am a movie star too. I don't know if you remember my documentary's coming out.
Okay,
too.
wait.
Yeah.
We'll have to. This is Real Estate Jerky on PowerTalk 1360 KFIV with our host, Ed Parco, MBA veteran and president of Lending for Living, soon to be author. You can reach out to Ed by dialing 209-404-1915, 209-404-1915. And when we return, we will visit the latest programs coming up for potential home buyers, what's going on with reverse mortgages, and you just heard it right here, first time, that Ed's movie star. So there's always something to chew on here at Real Estate Jerky, so don't go away.
Our new reverse mortgage product limits can change the way you live out the rest of your life.
And we're back. This is Real Estate Jerky on PowerTalk 1360 KFIV. I'm Marlene Champlin, along for the ride with our amazing host, Ed Parco, MBA veteran, mortgage guru, and president of Lending for Living, soon to be author. And what's this about movie star?
I was just kidding about that. It's back in September of last year of 21, I was asked to be part of a documentary on real estate. They wanted to know my take on the market and what's going on. And so for an hour and a half, they interviewed me for this documentary. It was going to be called The New Rules of Real Estate. And I guess now they changed the title because hacking is such a huge term these days, which I can't stand it because I used to be not a hacker, but a cracker, which meant you would go into places and you wouldn't do any damage. You just saw if you could get in there back in the day. And so they're calling hacking real estate. And they've interviewed a bunch of people and about how they got into real estate and how they did what they did. And then they, like I said, they asked me about, the market. And I was the one that brought up the whole thing about which is a bad term now, but because the Roe versus Wade and how we lost all those babies and for the next decade, birth rates dropped. So I talked all about that and they have me in it and they sent the little teaser. They're going to send me in stuff so I can promote it so people can go see it, or download it or whatever. And you get to see me in actually a coat and a shirt instead of t-shirts and hats. And I showed somebody yesterday and they're like, I didn't see you on there. I'm like, that's because you're looking for the hat. And yeah, I showed it. He's like, oh, there you are.
Yeah.
Clean shaven and actually with a coat and a tie.
Did you shave your beard?
I didn't have, I just had I was clean shaven. This beard's only from going to Alaska. And I finally had it trimmed up last week when I got a haircut. I was like, I can trim that up for you. I'm like, then do it.
Yay. Yeah. So, and it comes out next week.
It's middle of the month. It starts getting out to where you promote it and you can download it. And then by the end of the month, and then it runs for about a month that you can see everything. So it'll be promoted on Facebook and LinkedIn and YouTube and everywhere so that you can
I
see
think,
it.
people don't understand in the United States, if you're if you're born here and you've never traveled or gone or known anybody in other countries, it's a phenomena that is unique to the United States, home ownership. And the fact that
So that anybody can buy.
correct.
That's a phenomenal. In Mexico and other places you can buy, but you really can't own for long. In some places you have to buy with, they have different rules. So.
Right. And even in the United States, what most people don't realize is prior to 1934 and prior to the federal housing the FHA and those programs that Roosevelt put in place, most people didn't own. Even in the US, the ownership was high for the world, but still low compared to today.
Did you watch that movie, 40%. It's a Wonderful Life? Right? Potterville.
Yeah. You mean at Christmas?
I'm just saying that shows you how it was.
Yes.
That was during that period of time. That's showing you that. And at that point, what you're talking about, you had to put like 50% down.
My family did not own. I did not grow up in we leased the dairies that we were on. We didn't own. They weren't able to put that together until I went off to school. And that was all the slave labor. Yay. Hey, by the way, you were in a shed. I'd have taken a side building or a shed over the dining room.
Shed. I was on porch. I was on the porch.
You were on the porch. I did not have a
That's room. Even worse.
I would have taken a shed. I would have rather have been in the shed.
In Denver, Colorado during the winter?
I'd have taken it. Dude,
you had heat.
Having the dining room as your bedroom meant that you couldn't have anything. I couldn't.
Yeah, but if you got hungry, all you had to roll over and see the crumb.
The kitchen.
No. I say.
Oh no, there were no crumbs in my house. Are you kidding me? Oh my gosh, no. Eat off the floor was the de rigueur, and on a dairy, which was stupid. Like really? Oh gosh. Yeah. So anyway,
the things that they don't do now.
No,
they don't. Yeah, kids.
Well, yes, we have some kids living in
good bunk beds now.
We have kids living in some pretty crappy situations, but not because of families trying to save money or any of that. In fact, it's the opposite. They got money in their hand and they're just blowing it and not on their kids. And that's gonna
be another story.
That's another story.
That's another story for another day.
Okay,
back to FHA.
Back to FHA. Yeah, FHA.
They started that because prior to this, do you know why?
Tell me. Because
during the Depression, when we went into the Depression, and if you look, that was what we had in the Great Recession, but they didn't want to say that. But in the Depression, what happened is they could call, if you owned a home, they could call your loan due and payable at any time for any reason. So they came and knocked on your door and said, we want to be paid off because there was a run on the banks. And they were like, we don't have the money, get out. And they kicked them out. And so they changed it. So they put together HUD and they put together the FHA loan program so that people could actually buy houses with little down. Because before, like I said, you had to put at least 50% down. And then you'd only have a loan for 5 years. Right. And so, so now they put something together. And since then, came out of that was, the conventional, Fannie Freddie. What came out of that is also the VA programs, all those things that has evolved from this original program back in 1934, which is amazing that everything has evolved out of that.
And we haven't done much since.
Just
the 70s.
Well, VA, they changed the VA to a much better program now. And even came out to where vets can actually pay for pest repairs now. So.
You're listening to Real Estate Jerky with our incredibly talented host, Ed Parco, MBA veteran, mortgage advisor, and president of Lending for Living. You can reach out to Ed at 209-404-1915. That's 209-404-1915. This is PowerTalk 1360 KFIV. So the VA, and you know what? I just lost my mind about when all that got it put into place. Ago. No, the changes as far as upping the limits and all that.
2 years ago.
Which is stunning.
Two Januaries ago, it came into play.
So helpful.
Yeah. So the Blue Water Act or something like that. It besides the VA loan limit change, it had some other stuff for veterans. It was a big act. It wasn't just about the loan program. But I was looking at your stuff. You were talking about how the sizes of homes have increased over the years.
Doubled.
Yeah.
Doubled.
Well, they're still building multi-generational housing for 3 families to live in. And my wife can barely have me in the house. I can only imagine having multiple generations in her house. She kicked me back to the office because I'm too loud when I talk. So what am I going to do?
Yeah, they've doubled, and they just keep getting bigger. I was reading up on that, and it was just incredible because they just keep getting bigger and bigger and bigger. The houses they're building there up by me, where you used to live, crazy. They're huge and I get it that they're
no
smaller.
yard though, right?
No yard. 0 lot lines. It's crazy. I'm looking at that going, okay, what's the difference between that and a condo or an apartment?
You don't share a wall.
Yeah.
Well, no, that's huge because you don't hear the wall through the wall.
If you open the windows at night, even at my neighborhood, if everybody's got their windows open every now and then, I've walked out in the backyard just to see, can I hear snoring?
Well, if you live close to me, you would.
Everybody's snoring.
Yeah. That was one of the, also I keep bringing up Mike Douglas because they bring us up also. I was on that show when we had the top 20 annoyances of annoying neighbors, and the number one annoyance was noise.
Yeah. Noise.
Yeah. A few of them were, one of them was, people letting their dogs go to the bathroom on your yard, not picking it up. Right.
That would be really annoying since I have artificial turf. Thank you to our friend Charlie Malone's Turf and Landscape. Yeah, that would be beyond annoying. It does happen, but it's the cats, not the dogs. It's the cats because they just
that
roam.
Was another one too.
Yeah,
I had a lady who loved her neighbors, and they had this whole thing where there was an edible garden, where they set that up. But the problem is they have cats, and so they would. Oh. And they told the cat owners, "Hey, your cat's going over." Well, they eat and they have to go to the bathroom. I'm like, well, what you should do is just package it up and give it back to them and say your cat lost this in our yard, and we wanted to give it back to you. That's what I would do.
It's a nice little package.
Yeah, here.
Well, the good news is
I want to return things that your people lost. Here it is. Because she was saying I haven't thrown it over there. I go, I have. All right. Or just package it up and here you go. Here's your stuff back. I don't get it. Don't have outside cats. Either have inside animals or don't have animals. Don't leave your dogs outside. Don't leave your cats outside.
Roam.
Yeah.
I've got feathers all over my front yard as I left this morning because the neighbor's cat obviously decimated some little bird. Well, not that little, because there's feathers everywhere.
Well, that bird must have been having a problem if it was hit by that cat. So
yeah.
Sick. Oh, I saw the other day out in our backyard.
No,
it was about this big.
A rat.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm sitting there looking out, and it's like.
Well, when I had the game cam up because of my nuisance neighbors several years ago. Do you remember?
I remember. Yeah.
Remember?
Because you're gonna let me borrow it.
Yeah. So I had that up. You know what I saw all the time? Number one, running along the fence.
Rats.
And rats.
Yeah,
yes.
They're all over the power
Oh
lines.
my gosh.
And we have nothing compared to San Diego. When I lived in San Diego, it was the worst rat population it was there in everything. In downtown San Diego in the sewers.
Because the ocean.
They're everywhere.
Yeah, along the pier and all that stuff.
No, I'm talking inland. They're all over inland, in the bushes and everything. They're all over. Like I was in Oceanside, Vista, all those places. Yeah, they're all over there. It's inundated by them.
I never had that problem when Beth, that wasn't a problem at maybe the
You don't always see them.
Oh, I know.
They're in the bushes.
I forget what the pest control guys will
I know,
you.
But we have Clark, and they're coming back out to take care of this one.
Everyone you see, I forget it's thousands is the numbers. It's like,
well, it's like cockroaches.
How do we get on this? So
because we're about homes,
because we are about homes, and
we're talking about cats and that kind of stuff outside. If I had a cat outside, it probably would have taken care of this rat problem. I don't think so.
Well, my dog got a rat. Remember that Murphy got the rat and was trying to friend it. Anyway, hey, you're listening to Real Estate Jerky here on PowerTalk 1360 KFIV with our amazing host, Ed Parco, MBA veteran and president of Lending for Living. And we are talking real estate. You can reach out to Ed at 209-404-1915. That's 209-404-1915 or email Ed at radio@realestatejerky.com. So when we come back, we're going to talk about reverse mortgages again. I have curious questions to ask you about that because we still have the highest equity we've ever had.
Huge.
In the history of home ownership in the United States. What? Yes. I love it when things like that happen. So don't go away.
You can change the way you live out the rest of your life with our new reverse mortgage products from Lending for Living. Our loan limits are the highest available. Call us today at 209-846-9270 or visit lendingforliving.com.
Welcome back to Real Estate Jerky here on PowerTalk 1360 KFIV, where we always give you something to chew on. I'm Marlene Champlin, winding the show up with our amazing host, Ed Parco, MBA veteran and president of Lending for Living. So, Ed, is it time?
Is what time?
Is it time to tell everybody what's happening?
Sure. What's that?
That I am not going to be on the air anymore.
You're not.
Nope.
Well, what are you going to do? It's only been a year and a half, right? Almost 2 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I was never supposed to be on the air.
Well, you did a great job.
Not if you talk to some people.
That's okay. You got to have haters. If you don't have haters, you're not doing anything. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So no, I'm leaving. I'm leaving, going back to what I do best. And so
Talking.
no, I don't talk. I write.
Okay.
I write. That's why I'm proud of you that you're writing a book, that you're writing a book.
I hate writing. I hate
Oh,
reading. I
man.
when I read a book, I listen to it. So it's a little different for me.
Yeah. I write every day, all day
Really?
long. Yeah. Commercials and text and content and like the stuff for the show, posts, all that jazz. Yeah. Website, all of it. Brochures. That's what I do every day for years and years, decades.
Yeah. So we'll be trying out a few people to see about co-hosting and seeing what happens. We don't know which way it's going yet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're not going to just do your thing and do your guests. And you have so many shows that you do now.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, because you're like Inner Edison
Yeah.
and Helping the Brave. And now you have the market, the video.
I do
YouTube
5
stuff.
days. We do 5 days a week market updates on
Yeah.
LinkedIn, YouTube, and Facebook in the mornings at 8 or 8:30, depending. So Monday, Wednesday, and Fridays at 8:30. Tuesdays and Thursdays is either 8 or 8:30, depending on when Robert's available.
And that's one of them, the market, and it is with Mike Kelly Market.
Mike Kelly is 3 days a week.
And he's a realtor.
Yeah, he's a local agent at Remax. He's been around forever.
Mhm.
He's funny. We get, it's easy. Robert's also from Remax.
Robert Atkins. Yep.
And then I have another gentleman who comes in on Wednesday. We do another thing later on, usually around 10 a.m. to 10:30. Francisco Rubacava over at J. Peters Realtors. So
And what's Francisco's thing?
we just talk about what he wants to talk about because he's getting the younger crowd people, right?
Mhm.
Because I think he's 21, 22,
Mhm.
young guy.
Because you and Robert do VA.
We do a
as
lot of
well
VA
as-
stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because he's a veteran. He's a Navy vet. I'm a Navy vet.
Mhm.
So we talk about that a lot. And Robert started a whole VA buyer Facebook page, and it's been going pretty good for him.
So if anybody out there is a vet and you've got questions, because the cool thing about the two of you, I think, is the fact that he's a realtor, number one, and he's younger. And
Ouch.
well,
I
It's
pretty
good-
much hit every age demographic with the three I just told you. Right.
how old's Mike?
Mike's older than me. That's what I'm saying. Mike's older than me.
I was
So we
gonna
hit
say,
the upper
Mike's
side.
about my age.
And then we
actually.
have, Robert, who's a little younger than me. And then we have, Francisco, who's even way younger than me. He could be my son.
Yeah, Francisco's a punk.
Yeah.
Hey,
He's not a punk. He's just a young
no,
kid.
I mean, yeah, but I mean, he's young.
You
I didn't
you
mean
mean punk like the young,
I mean, yeah,
like an old
like-
person would say it.
Yeah, that's like an old person, because I am an old person. So I'm going to go back to my old person ways.
Yes.
Yeah. So Mike Kelly, I think Mike's Mike's my age. And so, yes, you have all the demographics. And when I said punk, I didn't mean like as in I meant as in an age. Yes.
Yeah, I understand. Like punk rocker. I get it.
No, like as in puny. Young. He's very young. He's a very young guy, but that's cool. He's been a realtor for what?
Which one? Mike?
No, Francisco.
A few years.
Yeah.
Probably 2 to 3 years.
Yeah. Like he got his license like as soon
I
as he
haven't
was-
checked, so I couldn't tell you.
I think I remember him saying something like that.
But was about the reason I started having doing stuff with him is he had a veteran client of mine who actually found him at an open house, and he got their offer accepted during the period of time that nobody got offers accepted for VAs. And so I'm like, how did you do that? And he's just one of those go-getters who just work and work and work until it happens. And that's the same thing with Mike Kelly, and that's the same with Robert Atkins. They all do really well, and that's why I do business with them.
Mm-hmm.
And I would have other people on from like Tuolumne County and stuff. It's just a long drive.
You're listening to Real Estate Jerky here on PowerTalk 1360 KFIV with our host, Ed Parco, MBA veteran and president of Lending for Living. If you need help with real estate, any kind of issue really in real estate, or something you're wondering about in our communities, you can reach out to Ed at 209-404-1915. That's 209-404-1915, or email Ed at radio@realestatejerky.com. So I wanted to ask about reverse mortgages again. And
Okay.
I know just because it's, as I said when we last segment, it's incredible the equity that's built up in homes, right? And the values historically the highest ever.
Yeah. Most people have have more than 50% equity in their home. And most people don't realize, and this is what came up earlier the week on Mike Douglas, had people call me and they're like, they didn't realize how much houses went up over the last 3 years. Because if you figure, if your house went, Modesto 20% a year or 22% a year, that's a lot of money. If you had a $250,000 house, now you have a $500,000 house. So you have $250,000 in equity. So, I was shocked. I think I've told this a few times over the last 3 weeks, how far off I was on my house, what I thought it was
on your own house, and
Yeah.
you're in the business.
Yeah, I was
Right.
but also it's not a tract home. It's the older college area. So it's harder to know and the reason I say that, because in a tract home, there's so many houses around there the same as yours, right? Same square
Mhm.
footage, same bedroom, same model, same everything. So it's much easier to get closer, but I didn't think I was going to be $100,000 off. I was pleasantly surprised. And I told some other people that this is what Mike gave me. Like, what? Yeah.
Then so with the reverse mortgage, if you're out there and things, because of all the increases in pricing and gas and everything that's gone up, if it's messing up your retirement dream,
Yeah,
it's something to think about.
because I talked to a few people, again, because I'm on multiple shows, and they're going to not retire. They're going to, 25% of the people are not retiring like they thought they would. So they're going to be waiting. And so other people are going to, okay, how can I retire now? Well, if I get a reverse mortgage, I can use that. Well, I don't want to take money out of my 401k, 403b, or IRA because it's down in value. If I take it out now, I'll never recover. So they're taking reverse mortgages out. For most people doing it, though, they're really hurting and they really need it to help them get through life. And then I've had some other people do it for asset protection. What I mean by that is they're being sued or something's happening and they're taking the money out of their house so they have it to live off of. Or being able to pay for something, like they were sued on something and they want to be able to pay it and then still keep their house but not sell their house, and they can do it with a reverse mortgage. So there's many ways and many reasons to utilize
that
a reverse
would
mortgage.
suck.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Ew, yeah.
Yes, it does. But anyway, it's that time of the day again. It's the end of our show and the last show for you. I'm sorry that you're going away, but we
Not
all
really.
I know I never said that. And thanks for you guys tuning in each and every week. If you want to get in touch with me, that's easy. Just Google Real Estate Jerky, take your pick, web, social media, email, or you can call me direct to 209-404-1915. Again, that's 209-404-1915. In the weeks ahead, we'll be addressing the water situation with Nick Blom, the MID board member, and places to visit right here with Visit Modesto, and that would be the CEO, Todd Aronson. Candidates will be joining me like John Duarte. We're proud to live in this land of opportunity where you can still build personal wealth through home ownership. Join us here on Real Estate Jerky. We always give you something to chew on every Saturday at 12 noon and here on PowerTalk 1360 KFIV. And Sundays at 10 a.m. Marlene, thanks for being here today. Sorry it was so hard for me to get through the end here. I guess I'm all choked up.
You know what, Ed? I want to say this really quick. Thank you for all the teasing and all of giving me the opportunity, because like I said, being on the air was not something I wanted to do. But it was great to be part of it and to work with you. And I'm looking forward to seeing all the amazing things you're going to do in the future with the show.
Well, I'm going to do the best I can. We'll see where it goes from here. Again, thank you, Marlene, so much for being here for the last almost 2 years, and thank you for what you've done for the show. Again, my MLS license number is 235384, and we'll talk to you next week.
'Cause we got small towns and farmland, folks who